If you're a regular viewer of this humble little channel, you might be asking yourself two simple, rather straightforward questions. Where have you been, and why isn't this the Silent Hill 2 video? Those are both great questions. Life happened. It happens to you, it happens to me, it even happens to your humble Amazon delivery driver. Life sure can suck, pals. You may have heard about the fires in LA recently. Well, that was part of my absence, but not all of it. That is the answer to the first question. As for why this isn't the Silent Hill 2 video, life happened. It happens to you, it happens to me, it even happens to your annoying neighbor who likes to blast Norwegian death metal at 2 in the morning for some reason. But no, seriously, the truth is, I lost the Silent Hill 2 video. I was about a day away from finishing the entire editing process, and Adobe for some reason had a nervous meltdown and old yelled my video for some reason. That sucked, to say the very least, and honestly, if I had just started working on the video again from scratch, I think I would have cried. So I'm taking a tiny little break just to sort of, cleanse the palette and refresh everything. So I started working on this video instead, and I will get to the Silent Hill 2 video very, very soon, I promise. But still, this isn't a video I really intended on making. Balatro isn't really a game I was playing for the purpose of making a video, so I wasn't really taking notes and I wasn't really doing much about it. I was just having a good time, So this video is honestly going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit relaxed and not so, I hesitate to use the word uptight, but yeah, just kind of relax a little bit. But Balatro, hey? What a game. I honestly hadn't really heard about this game until somewhat recently with the Game Awards, but after that, it was like everybody and their grandmother was just talking about it, and I just couldn't escape it. Even your humble Amazon driver and your loud neighbor teamed up to start playing it. It was everywhere, and I just could not escape. So, I did what every good person should do, and that was give in to peer pressure and the fear of missing out. So that's right, I bought the game and I just started playing. At first, I wasn't really sure how I felt about it. I thought it was going to be some silly poker game, but then 60 hours of my life just vanished in the blink of an eye. So, yeah, I had been playing this video while I was editing the Silent Hill 2 video, and I figured, hey, why not just make a video about the game I had been playing recently? So, here's a quick video on Balatro. And if you don't like it, then please, feel free to leave a complaint in the comments section. Just feel free. Fire away. Oh yeah, and just so we're clear, there will be no spoilers in this video, because there is nothing to spoil in this video. There's no story or anything. So yeah, there is that, but there's also another thing to keep in mind. I don't know a damn thing about poker. I don't know the terms. I didn't understand what most of the hands were before playing this game. Nothing. So I'm probably going to do what I do best, and that is butcher everything and break it down in a way that only I can understand. So, listen, let's just sit down together, relax, and take a look at Local Thunk's 2024 game, Balatro. Normally, I would begin the video talking about the main story of the game. However, as I stated earlier, Balatro doesn't have a story. As such, there's nothing to talk about. No adventure to take you on, or anything like that, and I know a surprising amount of you actually do enjoy listening to the story. So, I did what I do best, and that is make a quick, silly, incomprehensible story so you can get your story fix. Here we go. Once upon a time, in a humble little village, there lived an old man, and in his youth, the old man was a famed Balatro player. Men wanted to be him, women wanted to be with him, and even small woodland creatures wanted to visit his garden and live there. But the rent was just far too high for most of them, so they didn't end up going. It was more just like a vacation sort of a thing. Just a vacation hotspot, but only the richest woodland creatures could live there. But hey, what is a Balatro? Well, it's a special card game played all over the world. Most people play it for fun, but others dedicate their lives to becoming the best and battle it out in special arenas sold out and to the cheers of thousands of people. Our main hero was once the greatest Balatro player. He traveled far and wide and beat everybody he came across. There was nobody left to beat but one. A strange man who always dressed up like a court jester who lived alone on a private island. The creator of Balatro, Jimbo. As luck would have it, Jimbo has opened up a Balatro tournament. He will open his gates on his private island, if you can have gates on a private island, for any and all to make their way there and beat the best of the best and the greatest champions Jimbo's set up. And if you can beat every one of them, including himself, he will give you, quote, a one-of-a-kind jester card. Our hero, knowing that this is his only shot to become the very best, signs up to the tournament and travels to the island. He slowly makes his way through each player, each more difficult than the last. However, none stand in his way. His deck is just too powerful. Victory after victory, our hero climbs through the ranks. Some battles are close, but they aren't the best, so he beats them. After enough time, our nameless hero comes face to face with Jimbo. The quirky little man shakes his bells and prances around, then whips out his card deck and prepares for battle. Jimbo is the best for a reason, but our hero is no slouch himself. Hand after hand is drawn, and the score count rises until eventually our hero is victorious and crowned the best Balatro player around. Jimbo giggles and praises the man's skill. He's never seen such bravery before. I've not seen such bravery. Those who, I'm sure there are some of you who actually understood that reference. Anyway, he's never seen such bravery before, or skill, or cunning. Jimbo then turns around and holds out a blank card. He beckons our hero to come closer as he holds out the card even further. Once the old man gets closer, he begins to feel weak and lightheaded, and a bright light shines from the card and overtakes him. He's lifted off his feet and sucked into the card, and then he's gone. Jimbo looks down at the card with now an old man jester upon it. He smiles and says, "This really is a one-of-a-kind jester card. Thanks for playing." The end. Well, that was the greatest story ever told, and it didn't take any elements or plot details from other media at all. Completely one of a kind, very unique, do not steal. No notes, 10 out of 10. Somebody should give whoever wrote that story a raise and a Dr. Pepper 12-pack. Local Thunk, if you're watching, I expect to see a new old man jester card in a new game update. Anyway, enough joking around. Let's go on over to the gameplay section, shall we? If you're like me and you took a quick look at Balatro, you might think it's some bog-standard poker game about gambling in Vegas or something. Well, you'd be right and you'd be wrong at the same time. It is a poker game, or at least it uses poker hands and standard playing cards, but that's about where the similarities to poker kinda end. You see, the game is closer to a roguelike than anything else, which was kinda surprising. You choose your deck of cards and fight against 2 blinds and then a boss blind. The blinds are pretty much the enemies of the game, I guess. I know that blind is probably a poker term and using it would make sense, but again, I like to butcher things and put them in terms that only I can understand. So, blinds are enemies from now on. So, in each fight, you need to create a poker hand. Each hand has a score, and you need to get enough of a score to beat the enemy. I hope that kind of made sense. Your goal is to win against 8 bosses, and that's it. That's the goal. You just beat 8 bosses, or 9, I think. I think 9, maybe 8, doesn't matter. You beat a few bosses, and then victory. That's it. Simple. Simple, 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 simple stuff. Now, again, this might sound like poker, but just bear with me, because this is where the roguelike comes into play. After your first fight, you'll be granted a certain amount of money depending on how you did, and then you'll take that money and spend it in the store, which you can visit after every battle. In the store, you'll be able to buy lots of different things to help you progress as the enemies will get stronger and stronger. But the most important thing you can buy are Joker cards. Each one of these cards has a special ability tied to it which will help you along your way. You can have 5 of these special ability cards, but you can get more through special means. These Joker cards are completely random upon each visit, and once you miss them, normally you cannot see them or get them again. But what are these special abilities exactly? Well, some of them let you hold more cards or boost the particular score of a poker hand, or they'll even let you bend the rules a little bit. For example, normally you'd want to get a flush hand, you would need 5 cards of the same type, like 5 diamond cards or 5 heart cards. Well, with the help of a particular special Joker card, you can bend the rules and create a flush hand with other types of cards. Like you can mix and match them. So for example, 3 diamond cards and 2 heart cards, or 1 diamond card and 4 heart cards. Things like that. You can bend the rules to your advantage. These Joker cards are very powerful and will normally shape how you will actually play each game. For example, you might end up with a Joker card that gives you a score bonus to a flush hand in particular, so you'll start trying to create more and more flush hands. But you might also get a Joker card that gives you more money based on how well you did, and some cards might work better with more money that you have, if that kind of makes sense. You'll get a bigger score depending on how much money you have. Things like that are what make this game so addictive and fun. You will never know how each game is going to go or what cards you will be given, so you have to make the best out of a bad situation, or something like that. But Joker cards are just the tip of the Balatro iceberg. There are other things in the store which will help you along the way and change up the game in unpredictable ways. So, let's talk about some of them. Planet cards and tarot cards. These 2 card types will do 2 different things. Planet cards will upgrade your poker hand, while tarot cards do various things, from upgrading each individual card in different ways, or outright destroying cards, or heck, even giving you more money. Each one of these things will once again shape how your run will go. Upgrading a poker hand is exceedingly vital, because the longer you play, the stronger each foe will become, and the higher the score will be that you need to beat. So, you'll need a higher combo to deal with them. So let's get just a little bit mathy here for a moment so I can kind of explain if you don't quite understand yet, which I don't blame you. Sometimes trying to explain Balatro is kind of weird, but let me try to break it down for you. As I said earlier, your goal against each foe is to beat their particular score. So in this example, you can see that the enemy has a score of 300 we need to beat. Each poker hand we make has its own level and score attached to it. Here you can see that a pair of cards is 10 times 2, meaning it would give us a minimum score of 20. However, each individual card you play will add into that total score. As you can see, I have made a pair of 2s, so that would add an extra 4 points to that combo. So it now becomes 14 times 2, which equals 28. That's now 28 points we have scored against the enemy out of 300. Planet cards will upgrade the base level of each of those hands. As you can see on screen, the base level of flush hand is at level 1, which has a base score of 35 times 4. However, once we use a planet card on it to upgrade it, the level goes up and the score increases, and it now becomes 50 times 6. Now I know, these numbers, it's a very numbers-driven game, but honestly, you do not need to be a math whiz to deal with all of this. I'm not. I flunked out of math. In fact, I dropped out of high school. There's a bit of Lycan lore for you for the Wikipedia page. But yeah, you don't need to be a math whiz to figure all of this out. All you need to know is certain hands have certain multipliers, and the bigger the hand, the bigger the number, and bigger the number equals good. That's it. That's all you need to know. So that's how a planet card can help with each run of this game. But how do tarot cards work? Well, they help in much the same way as planet cards, only rather than leveling a hand, they level how each individual card works. Here you can see that each one of these cards does something special. Some will create a card you used last, some will give you planet cards, some will give you more tarot cards, some will double your money, or some will just turn your card to stone, which doesn't make it useless. It has its own unique effect. The stone cards have their own unique effect, is what I mean. So yeah, each of these cards, Joker, Tarot, and Planet, will drastically shift how you play the game. Suddenly, this isn't a game about trying to be the best poker player and bluff your enemy and so on and so forth. It's actually trying to create the best hand suited for your current deck build, card levels and types and so on. Maybe you've gotten a Joker card that only works with the more aces you have in your deck. Well, suddenly you're trying to build a deck filled with aces and trying to pair them up. That's what makes this game so addictive and far removed from poker. The game is far more roguelike than anything else, and I have been enjoying each and every moment. Now, of course, there are more and more details than the ones I've described thus far, but I'm not going to break it all down for you, especially the math. Better cards means a better chance. Play your cards to your strengths and go with the flow. However, don't get complacent. Even the best crafted deck can fail, and believe you me, it will fail. Now, that's pretty much the gameplay of Balatro. It's nothing wild, even if it sounds wild and complex, but that's pretty much all I have to say about it. So, let's move on to the next section. So, truthfully, I questioned whether or not to even put this section in, because I have no idea if I actually encountered a bug or not. So, hear me when I say this. Everything I'm about to say might be false. Take it with a grain of salt, please. Okay, let me continue. 99% of the time, this game ran flawlessly for me. And I do mean flawlessly. It's a very well-polished game. I've played it on both my phone and my computer, and when you put those two combined total playtimes together, it's about 70 hours thus far, and that's a lot of Balatro, but probably not a lot of Balatro compared to other people, but still, for me, that's a lot of Balatro, and 99% of the time, it was golden on both systems. But there were a few times when I noticed something strange happen. In fact, I noticed two strange things happen. A fault in the multiplier score, and money not being counted. In one of my runs, I was doing really well. Really well. I was getting high scores and plenty of cash and things were looking great. However, on the second to last boss, I think it was, I was racking up my score for my play, and then I noticed the multiplier skipped a card, and it didn't add its value to my total, and that actually cost me the game. However, it happened so fast, and when you start racking up multipliers and card effects and things like that, it actually speeds up, so it made it really hard to track, but the point is, I wasn't even sure if it happened at all. I may have been zoned out and on autopilot, which is possible, but it would have been very hard to lose. Like I said, I was actually on a really good run, and most of my scores were based on money, so the more money I had, the higher the score I would get, but for some reason, one of the cards just didn't trigger. Or maybe it did, and it just didn't add the multiplier to the score. It's hard to say. Now, I do hear some Balatro experts chiming in, so let me address you all very quickly. And this is just for them, by the way. No, the boss blind didn't make me lose money for each card played. And no, it didn't shut down any Joker card ability down. In fact, the boss had no ability because of a legendary Joker I had. Okay, that probably made no sense to people who don't know Balatro, but for those who do, now understand. It was really strange, but that was like the one time it happened, so it may have happened, or maybe it didn't, but the one thing that I am pretty sure I did notice was money being counted. Sometimes when you skip a fight, so to speak, you can be granted a special, how do I put this? You'll be granted something special, a reward, if you skip around. And each of those rewards can be very different, but one of them is you can be granted money for skipping. And I skipped 2 enemies back to back. And that should have granted me at least $40, but it didn't. At least I don't think it did. Again, I might not have been paying attention, or I misread the numbers, which is very easy for me to do, by the way. But I did notice it happen a few times. Still, even if these were actual bugs and actual problems, with them added in, this game still runs fantastically 99% of the time. And maybe they aren't bugs, maybe it really is just me, but I still wanted to bring this up, just on the slight chance that it actually is a problem. If it isn't, like I said, ignore everything that I just said. So, there you go. Anyway, let's move on. Balatro is a surprisingly deep and complex game that has been somehow dumbed down enough for just anybody and their mothers to be able to understand and play. You do not need to understand poker in any way to be able to enjoy this game. The game will break it all down for you in easy to understand terms, and the rest you just figure out on your own. And when you add in all the rest of the wild stuff like Joker cards, different ranks, holographic cards, negative Joker cards, challenge modes, and so on, it creates something special and addictive. There have been multiple times I have sat down, pulled out my phone, and started a game just to pass a little bit of time, only to end up passing way more time than I thought I would. And that's another great thing about this game. You can just take it on the go with you. I've got it on my phone and on Steam on my PC, so I can just play it at home or while I'm out and about. To my knowledge, the game doesn't have a cross-save ability, which is a bit of a shame. It's a problem that I also have with Slay the Spire on my phone as well. I wish that these games would sync up their saves, so any cool trick I pull off on my phone that would normally unlock an achievement or a trophy, whatever, I just kind of wish that it would do that once I got home. Like it would say, oh yeah, you did this achievement while you were playing on your phone, so I'll unlock the achievement or trophy on the PlayStation or Steam. I kind of wish that they would do that, but I'm sure something like it is complex or costly, and I understand why they don't do it, but I still wish it was a thing, and maybe it would be in a perfect gaming utopia. But is Balatro for everybody? No, it isn't. In fact, if you don't like roguelikes, the type of game where you die and lose all your progress and then you start again, you won't like this game. If you don't like card games, the type of game like Magic the Gathering or something like that, the type where you would build a deck of cards and then play with said cards and try to work out strategies with them, if you don't like that, you probably won't like this game. And if you do not like poker games or games of chance, then you probably won't like this game as well. But for me, this game is fun as hell. So if you ask me if I think you should play it, yes, I think you should play Balatro. Give it a go, at least just once. Pick it up on sale or something like that, and give it a little go. In fact, I think it's actually cheaper on phones than it is on Steam, so if you don't mind playing on your phone, there you go, it's a little bit cheaper there. Give it a go, and who knows, maybe you'll love it just as much as I do. This is a well-crafted, well-thought-out game, and there isn't any fluff or dumb things to bog you down, and nothing on the UI that distracts, and the music is just gentle on the ears. It's a good time overall, and what's more impressive is the game is actually made by one anonymous guy. And I think that deserves some praise right there, so congrats, local thunk. Whomever you are, you made a great, fun game. Look, like I said earlier, I skipped over a few things here and there, but I'm not here to break down every detail of every game I cover. I'm just here to make a video about something I like or dislike. And that said, I've actually said everything I need to say about Balatro. It is a short, simple, addictive game, and that's that. Now, I'm sorry once again that I haven't been around. I could explain it all and all my reasons for it, but let's be honest, it doesn't matter. I'm doing the best I can, and honestly, I thank you all for sticking with me. Even in my absence, the channel has still continued to grow, which is mind-boggling to me. I still get comments from each and every one of you, either asking where I am or how I'm doing, or commenting on a video. And then there are those who have gone out of their way to support me through joining the channel. And you really stuck it out with me in like the 3 months that I've been absent, so thank you very much. Thank you Family Dog, David Welch, TV and Jack, TJ and Jack, Aaron Nelson, Amelia, Adam Myers, Miami Fred, The Rog, Joe Enderman, Anya the Khajiit, Kaz Pro, The Elder Irish, and a newcomer, Dude Prinny. No way, dude! I have those Prinny's voices stuck in my head forever and ever and ever. So, Thanks a lot, dude Prinny. However, with this video done, I'm still gonna need to cleanse my soul from the loss of that Silent Hill 2 video before I dive back into re-editing it. So I'll be putting out a few more shorter-ish videos like this, and I hope you still enjoy them. I know that they're not as well polished and they're not like epic long journeys, but I still hope that it's enjoyable, to say the least. I really do. So please stick with me while I get everything back in order. Now, if you could do me one extra little tiny favor, go out and play a game this weekend. A special game. Not the one that you've been playing over and over today, not some new game that's just released. I want you to go and play a game that really means something to you. I want you to sit down, play it, and when you're dumb, when you become dumb, come back here and write an incomprehensible comment that I can't understand. No, sorry. What I meant to say is, when you're done, come back here and tell me what your experience with that game was and how it made you feel. You're always sitting here listening to me, and outside of a few people who actually do, talk about the game that I probably was talking about, I never really get a chance to hear how you feel about games that maybe I didn't cover or haven't gotten around to yet. And I want to know about those games that you love, specifically, and how you felt about them. So, if you could do me that little favor, I would very much appreciate it. Until next time, peace out, pals.